But I think that if any team can do it, obviously it's the Saints, and I think they just need to use that first period, get their feet under them, and try and pick up momentum as the game goes along here.
And to be fair to Dartmouth, they did not have an easy time of it last night. Clarkson is a quality, hard-working club as well these days. Has been in the top 10 at times, and that was a 2-1 game in the third period as well before the Big Green separated a bit for the 4-1 victories. Here comes Piper with a drop pass to Parsons. Parsons with a wrist shot, and she rockets it wide as a top Dartmouth unit with a good chance early here in the first half minute of period number 2. Apps backhanding, looking for Piper, but it went through her stick, and the Canadian gold medalist 2 times over will pick it up down behind the net of Megan Gukian. Piper leaving now for Katie Weatherston. Weatherston threw her legs neatly to Shannon Bowman. Bowman outside the face-off circle, hacked it toward goal, but taken there by Brittany Smith. And Smith, short distance pass to Mariana Locke, and the Brasher Falls sophomore dips it deep to the Dartmouth end as Clemens stops for Sarah Nuno.
Dartmouth doing a good job on their breakout with that last unit, Piper's unit out there breaking out clean. And again, you see Sarah Nuno moving the puck up quickly. I think that's a key for Dartmouth, is to get the puck to their talented forwards as quickly as possible, get it moving down the ice. They have such speed up front.
Grills, high slot, snaps one wide of the mark. Chelsea Grills missed all of last year with a serious injury as Andy Gay with a screen in front charges one wide.
Andy Gay has a rocket from the point there.
No question, 7 goals, averaging a point per game in her junior season, although you'll hear from Annie in the second intermission. Talk to Paul Flanagan about her development. He said the biggest difference between her this year and last year is that last year she might have come up with, kind of a 2-goal, 2-assist game, but then make some ill-advised pinches and create chances for the opposition, whereas this year she's making the good decisions defensively and still getting her points at the offensive end.
Absolutely. I mean, I think in the game I've seen today, she's made a lot of good, smart, solid plays, and I think that's really important for a defenseman. Defensemen can get caught up in trying to get points, trying to rush the puck, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're not getting scored on, and I think Annie Gay is doing a great job of just playing within her game, using her strength and her shot, and, leading her team offensively by not giving up, those odd man rushes and not giving up any chances.
And there's a premium on that this year. I mean, last year she had the luxury of those 3 seniors, Kate Michael, Lori Ross, Tracy Muzzerall back there to cover up some of those mistakes. All 3 of those players very strong defensive-minded defensemen, whereas this year she's one of the veterans and looked to for leadership and guiding the Mashmeyers and Smiths of the world as they get comfortable. So having the big year coming off an All-American season as Batchelor blasts away from up high. Bouncing puck gathered by Batchelor, and here comes Lisa Batchelor. Took it away from Meredith Batchelor. And Batchelor ridden down between the circles by Katie Gray, taken by Shannon Bowman for the Big Green. And Bowman, who authored the difference-making goal thus far, moves through center with Katie Weatherston. They crisscross, so they hit the St. Lawrence line. A wrist shot by Bowman did not go through. Went off the legs of Abby Bullard. And Bullard losing behind the net to Katie Weatherston. Weatherston on the backhand, knifes her way out in front. Pinballing down low, finally gathered by Crystal Connors. And Connors scales it high off the glass to center.
Bowman's been coming on for the Big Green as of late. I believe when Sherry Piper was out with the injury to her knee, Bowman took over at center with Parsons and Apps, is my understanding. And really, she seems to be playing with a lot of confidence right now, making good decisions and moving the puck quickly and smartly.
Headman pass through center. It's interesting to see Bowman and Weatherston, very similar style players from my untrained eyes out there together, but some good chemistry between those two as Apps moved away. Going to get a whistle here, and with 3.5 gone in the second, still 2-1 Big Green.
Absolutely. Like you said, they both play very similar styles, Katie Weatherston and Shannon Bowman, both small and quick with excellent hands and good vision. So I think that maybe that allows them to read off of each other and play off of one another very well. As they play such similar styles, they kind of know what to expect.
Both players chased from the draw, so Harbeck and Parsons will have to watch Piper and Grills go at it in the dot. Chip to the wall. Brittany Smith got the first touch, and now it's controlled by Harbeck on right wing. Nice move to get through one defender. Harbeck, angle, trying to throw it in front. It caught Sarah Newnham instead, and she'll have to wrap it behind the goal as Parsons lifts the stick of Chelsea Grills.
Nice work by Grills in the corner there, knocking down Parsons and getting control of that puck.
Go ahead.
Back to the play before. Nice job by Newnham to lay down in front of that pass as Harbeck's so dangerous and can find her open player.
Apps threw it to the front, and Gukian bobbled it. Good idea by Apps. Piper went hard into the back wall, climbs back to her feet as Julia Bronson picks it up in her own end. You reference Grills' work in the corner. That is the aspect of her game that Paul Flanagan kind of singled out as being underrated. Certainly has been a good scorer in her career, but he said that they really missed her presence in sort of those 50-50 pucks and grinded out battles along the wall last year. As Carolyn Etier moves through center ice. Etier gets through one defender nicely. Etier with room for the wrist shot, and she scores! Etier with her second end-to-end tally of the day, and it's 3-1 Big Green.
Nice job again by Etier, just having confidence in that shot, putting it on net. I'm sure that's one that Gukian's going to want back as it went through her 5-hole, but good job by Etier there, using the St. Lawrence defender as a screen and getting that through.
Well, that was clearly the screen coming into play. Gukian a bit late in closing things out, but on a day when we've got a number of existing Olympians and potential future Olympians in attendance. How about Carolyn Etier? 2 end-to-end rushes, one high to the blocker side, and then there through the 5-hole, picks up a multi-goal game in a big game once again, and Dartmouth with a 3-1 lead here.
Mark Hudak has to be happy in seeing the production of his other players. I believe at the beginning of the season he was getting a lot from his first line, Jillian Abt, Sherry Piper, but they were the only goal scorers. It's nice to see them get some support, I'm sure, for Dartmouth with some of their other lines and stepping up and putting the puck in the net.
You look at Etier, who's gotten to 10 goals, and year in, year out, she's usually been good for about 10 goals, but in this particular season, as you referenced, it took her about 2 months to get going, and really it started when the injuries cropped up. She really picked up her pace, had 7 goals in a 6-game stretch at one point, and now with 2 today in a big contest, as we referenced at the outset. If Dartmouth can take 2 points here, they will be 5 points clear of the nearest competitor in the conference with a month to play, and with no games left against Harvard or St. Lawrence, the 2 teams closest to them in the standings. It would be very tough to imagine a scenario where the Big Green would surrender the ability to host the ECHC championship.
Absolutely. It's a great spot for Dartmouth to be in. And Etier, as we said earlier, I think she's traditionally been a playoff type of player, stepping up in the last half of the season. So it's nice for the Big Green to see.
Face off to the left of Gukian. Bowman kicks it out. Cobb on the swing. The one touch intercepted nicely by Connor. She might have a chance. Dominico was ahead of her, but they were not on the same page. Now they are, though. As Dominico from the circle. There's a penalty coming up to Dartmouth as Connors was taken off her skates. And as the Big Green touch up, we'll see Dartmouth to the box for the first time today. Crystal Connors, a bit slow, climbing back to her feet, but she drew the call on Cobb for tripping, and so St. Lawrence, which this year has been very effective 5-on-4, they are at 24%, will go up against that 90+% Dartmouth penalty kill.
Yeah, Dartmouth not only boasting an excellent power play, but an excellent penalty kill as well. But this is big for St. Lawrence. We'll see if they can't get something going here, get some shots on Clemis, and really put some pressure on her.
Grills to take the draw, but it's controlled by the Big Green. Katie Gray high off the glass, knocked down though by Kerry Wallace. Pressure applied by Cunningham along the point, taken by Connors for the wrist shot that was blocked by the stick of Batchelor. And now it's Weatherston. Weatherston trying to hammer it up the center of the ice and got it through Kerry Wallace's stick and down. Cunningham chasing after Brittany Smith. Good work by Cunningham. She forces the turnover shorthanded. Reinforcement comes from Katie Weatherston. Weatherston with space. Look out. She goes to the front. Wrist shot, and she forks it just wide.
Dartmouth obviously gaining momentum. Nice job by the freshman Jenna Cunningham getting down there and getting in the face of those St. Lawrence defenders, kind of breaking up their power play breakout. That's always tough.
Cunningham is all tied up with Brittany Smith's stick. They finally disentangle as here's Connors on the right wing side with 1:15 to go on the St. power play. Bodied down by Katie Gray as she moved in along the wall. Far side now it's Grills. Grills trying to set up, feeds Dominico behind the cage. Dominico to Connors. Connors.
Interesting unit out here.
Yeah, we don't see Harbeck out here just yet.
No Harbeck, no Annie Gay for St. Lawrence. I'm a little bit surprised that Coach Flanagan didn't lead with those two.
So the puck out of play. We did see Crystal Connors. And here's a player that no one ever talks about on St. Lawrence. And all she does is produce. And you look at the stat sheet this year, who's number 2 on the Saints in scoring? It's Crystal Connors.
Yeah, she's an extremely good skater. She's quick. She's had the puck a lot. Makes nice decisions with the puck, and obviously drew that penalty to put SLU on the power play.
Now Harbeck is out there with Gay. So pretty good balance for St. Lawrence on its 2 units.
All right, we'll see what kind of look that they come out with this time. I'd imagine that they want Annie Gay up top taking that big shot.
That's what they're trying to set up. The one-timer does not go through as Etier took it off the skates with 45 seconds to go on the man advantage. Down low, it's Carson Duggan. Duggan, far side to Harbeck. Harbeck, playmaking up top to Gay. Gay with a drive. Caught off the shoulder of Clemens, I believe, and went behind the net. Now Harbeck again in the far circle. Leaving for Mariana Locke. Locke is dangerous on the power play. Got to keep an eye on her as Bullard's near circle blasts away. Rotating over for another shot block was Etier. And now it's Mariana Locke, goal line extended near side. Another penalty coming up to the Big Green. Annie Gay, far side to Harbeck. Harbeck waiting for the extra skater. Here comes Chelsea Grills driving to the front. Gay has room up top, swings far side. Harbeck hooks to the front. One-timer by Grills, and it's kicked out by Clemens. Still St. Lawrence has possession. Another shot taken. Etier touches up. Call is going to be made, and St. Lawrence right back to the 5-on-4.
Argument could be made that St. Lawrence maybe should have let Dartmouth touch up there so they could go on the 5-on-3, but with only 15 seconds left, I think it was a good decision by Annie Gay to keep the puck and put some shots on Clemens, see what they can get going.
So this time it's going to be Julia Bronson for 2. They've actually put that penalty on the St. Lawrence side, but that's incorrect because Bronson's in the box, and so Harbeck's going to stay out there now. Opposite Shannon Bowman. Harbeck wins the draw. Reaching for it was Kennedy, but held by Bullard near side. Abby Bullard down low to Duggan. Duggan far side to Harbeck, and Harbeck rotates it back to the sophomore. Katie Gray gets in the way and wraps it around, but Bullard seals off the near side wall. Now Harbeck far corner. Up top, Gay. Right back to number 96 in red. Back to Gay for the one-timer, and Clemens. That might have been tipped by Locke, but it went right into the equipment for a save.
Great shot again by Gay. You see Harbeck just trying to set it up for Annie Gay to tee it up. And again, I don't think St. Lawrence has really tested Carly Clemens too much. It'd be nice if they could get some traffic to the front of the net. That time they had Locke, and I believe Domenico was in front of the net as well, but Clemens just covered that up right away.
Wallace off the draw win by the Saints. They still have 90 seconds to work with. One thing Clemens has done a nice job with is rebound control. Saints have been predominantly one and done on their shot attempts today, and the only time they had a follow-up was the one that they scored as Harbeck tapped in the loose puck. Connors trying to turn it in front. That was swatted away by Clemens. Thompson contesting for it down low against Crystal Connors. Domenico and Ruda there as well. Grills tips it free for a moment. And now it's Chelsea Grills near the corner with some space. Up to Wallace, but she fumbles the puck. Thompson trying to move short-handed. Wallace was able to recover in the nick of time and gives St. Lawrence a chance to reset as it's tipped over the line by Domenico. But she overskates in turn, and now it's Ruda with plenty of time to clear.
Good recovery there by Wallace. Dartmouth's so aggressive on their penalty kill. They get right out there, run a rotation. I think it's really difficult for teams that aren't used to seeing that, maybe used to seeing more of a passive box. St. Lawrence seems to be struggling with it a little bit. They need to move the puck and just make a little bit quicker decisions when they're facing a rotation.
Parsons and Apps, a very potent offensive shorthanded combo out there right now. And they are wreaking havoc in the neutral zone with 25 seconds on this St. power play. Harbeck finally gets it back into the zone. Now Katie Gray below the end line for the big green. Lobs to the blue line, and Abby Bullard, all 5-3 of her, knocked it down for a moment. But the follow-up clearance by Jillian Epps sends the puck all the way down as Gay comes back to track it. One final rush for the Saints, and they don't seem to be in any hurry here. Down 3-1 as we approach the midway point of the hockey game.
The Saints did a good job of controlling the puck on that power play as it winds down here now. But unfortunately, I don't think they got very many shots on net. Didn't test Clemens as much as I'm sure they would have liked to.
Red line near side, it's Bullard. And offside's going to be the call with a couple of Saints in the zone early, so a face-off back in center ice area.
It's a good crowd on hand today here at Thompson Arena, including the Canadian national team coach who's been spotted, I'm sure, out here watching some of the players for both Dartmouth and St. Lawrence.
Well, that's going to be the interesting contrast. Certainly there's some veterans of Canadian national teams on the Dartmouth side, but you look at Annie Gay, who got a chance to play in that Four Nations Cup opposite you for St. Lawrence, and Sabrina Harbeck, I would imagine, definitely on the radar as well.
Absolutely.
As Batchelor, with a turnover, pushed it to the front. Maybe one move too many there, but Clemens made the save. Far side, it's Wallace golfing it in front. Skips up the slot to Brittany Smith. Her shot was blocked by Bowman, and the zone is cleared. Problem for Harbeck. That's an awfully deep depth chart to go through.
Absolutely. A lot of Canadians playing for both of these schools, respectively.
Both coaches doing a nice job of mining north of the border for talent. And it's going to get a hand pass here on Jenna Cunningham with 9:26 to go in the second.
Cunningham wanted to take that and run with it.
Now, the Super Bowl's a week away, so trying for the carry, but it was whistled down, so we'll get the draw at center ice as things have settled down a little bit after that St. Lawrence power play. Dartmouth has a 3-1 lead. Etier's been the offensive star with 2 goals off beautiful end-to-end rushes. Sabrina Harbeck has the lone tally for the Saints. It's Dartmouth, which has been Dartmouth's been very clutch this year. You take away that season-opening series at Mercyhurst, a very difficult assignment. Dartmouth's been money against the top teams in the East, winning a tie against UNH, winning a tie against Harvard, and the win in the first round between these two squads. So with a win today, they would kind of get through pretty clean against the other top teams here in the East.
Absolutely. Dartmouth has really stepped up in their play against the big-time competition, as I think that they always do, and I think it's really important. They have a fairly young roster. They do have a lot of veterans in the returning national team players, but of course they have a very large sophomore class that hasn't been to the Frozen Four yet, as I'm sure they're trying to get to.
Buck played with a high stick, knocked down. It's canceled out. So here's Etienne on left wing, content to dump it. Chase, and it's a good point. There's actually 13 freshmen and sophomores on this Dartmouth team among 21 skaters. So even though they got the sterling record, here's Parsons off a turnover. Look out. Parsons fanning on the wrist shot, got it back, and then fumbled it again. Frustrated with herself as she leaves down low for Apps. Apps behind the net to Sherry Piper. Piper up the near side, finds the outlet in Bronson. Wrist shot. Apps was camped out in front. There's a loose puck on the doorstep. Probing was Piper, but she came up empty as Wallace got the clear.
Jillian Apps, so dangerous in front, had two St. Lawrence defenders tied up. The puck gets through, and she still gets a stick on it.
Point I was going to make was with 13 freshmen and sophomores, for the players who came back from the Olympics this time around, they've all said it. As Sabrina Harbeck here off a turnover, has a player in front, now turns it toward Duggan. The redirect by Duggan, it's fought off nicely by the glove of Clemens. As Parsons moves through center, crisscrossing with Apps, and all of a sudden the pace picking up again as Parsons on the backhand, wrapped it in front, but controlled by the stick of Gay and covered by Guki. And my point was just going to be what Apps and Weatherston and Piper have all said to me is they came back, and it's almost like the team was completely different from the one that they left.
Right. Well, in talking to them, obviously they're my classmates, or were my
exactly.
classmates. So it is a very different look team. I mean, they went away for a year and they came back with, almost all new teammates. So I'm sure it's very different for them. And Dartmouth only has, I believe, their true senior class right now. The 07s is only a class of 3, being Meredith Batchelor, Carolyn Etier, and
Nicole Ruda.
Nicole Ruda is actually a junior.
Oh, you're right. Sorry about that.
So maybe it's only 2 of them. So very small senior class. And then the super seniors.
But you're right. It is because of players like yourself who graduated while they were gone. And so for them, it has been a feeling out process. Hear Sherry Piper talk about that a bit in the second intermission. So even though they met a lot of these people through recruiting, didn't get a chance to really get a feel for them as players until this season. As Katie Gray down low wraps it around far side.
I think that's one thing that people forget in looking at this Dartmouth team, because you do see the Piper and Apps and Weatherston and the very experienced players, but outside of those 3, the only members of this team to make it to a Frozen Four are Ruda, Thompson, Cobb, and then the senior class of Meredith Batchelor and Carolyn Etier. So that's only a handful of players that have actually been to the Frozen Four, or ECACs for that matter.
Sent down low. Gukian plays it aside, so icing cancel out with 6:15 to play in the second. Carolyn Etier with the pair. And Shannon Bowman with a goal as well for Dartmouth as Cobb caught an edge at center. It's taken by Connors. Sabrina Harbeck actually opened the scoring in this game at the 6-minute mark of the first, following up a Chelsea Grills wrister. We got a penalty here. Look out. Katie Weatherston shaken up on the far side, and the linesman was actually in the middle of that contact as well.
Weatherston went down hard. I'm not sure. It looks as if she's holding her wrist. I know that she had a bit of a wrist injury earlier in the season. You hope that she didn't re-injure that or compound that in any way.
Well, the penalty is going to be on Dominico, but in some ways that contact caused as much by the linesman being in the wrong spot. As those players got together along that blue stripe and went down, there was an extra body in there. Weatherston stays down on the ice and certainly hope for the best there. As you referenced, she was bothered by a wrist injury, and that she also fell into the category of players where she was not going to be 100% the rest of the way, but basically was told she's not going to make it any worse by playing. And now she pops back up to her feet. So hopefully good news for Dartmouth as she's skating around under her own power, and Sherry Piper coming over to confer.
Absolutely. I'm not even sure I would have called that a penalty.
She's not even going to miss a shift. Looks like she took her stick, and she's about ready. She's going to come off at least to start the power play, but looks ready to go.
Dartmouth again reloading with their 5 forwards on the PP.
Now Bowman's going to come out. Late substitution, I believe, is going to be denied, so Ruda's going to have to start this a 5-some on the power play. The draw is inside the offensive zone, but not in the circle, as you can see. All sorts of confusion here. Finally, I think we're about ready to go, with Dominico in the box for 2. And once again, St. Lawrence staring at a critical juncture of this game. They're down 3-1.
Nice face-off there by Jenna Cunningham, who doesn't normally take face-offs.
Apps fans on the one-timer. Down low.
Sarah Parsons having a little trouble controlling the puck.
And Weatherston is out there, so she's fine, it looks like now. Weatherston turns it in front. There was Bowman. Piper skates over to hold the line. Now down low to Weatherston.
Nice hustle by Piper.
And Parsons outside the near ring now. Now to Weatherston, beats a defender off the wall. Huge drive. Shoulder save. Cookie, and a loose puck gathered in the nick of time by Annie Gay.
Weatherston's wrist seems to be feeling fine after firing off that shot.
But here's Harbeck shorthanded, one-on-one against Apps. Harbeck, wrist shot, and Clemens makes the pad stop.
As we mentioned earlier, it's so tough for St. Lawrence PKers just because you don't want to overcommit to any one player as they're so talented on this Dartmouth squad, but at the same time, you don't want to lay off them and give them too much time. You have to try and find a little bit of happy medium. I think that St. Lawrence could afford to be a little bit more aggressive, being that they're down 3-1 on this penalty kill.
Well, it's the second time this period that we've seen Katie Weatherston get off the wall with plenty of space, and anyone who's seen her play knows she's got, bad wrist or not, she's got moves on top of moves, and not a good situation for the defender. That time using the slap shot, and Gukian did just enough to make the save. And then Clemens stopping Harbeck at the other end. So 1:01 to go in the Dominico Minor. It's still 3-1 Big Green. Both teams have changed up specialty teams units, so it's Ruda to take the draw now opposite Courtney Sawchuk, it looks like.
Senior Meredith Batchelor, the lone defender out there for Dartmouth.
Far side, Cunningham lobbing in, knocked away by Gukian, gathered by Kerry Wallace, wound around near side. Etier has plenty of time to come over and collect. Now it's Maggie Kennedy, body to the ice penalty coming up to Courtney Sawchuk. And as Sawchuk touches up, St. Lawrence is going to face the same predicament they did late in the first. 5-on-3 for the Big Green for 44 seconds. And here comes the Big 5 zone.
44 seconds is a long 5-on-3 to kill. I think that was a tough call, maybe a little bit of frustration there, but at the same time, it didn't look like anything too vicious. Maggie Kennedy maybe
got her
lost
back
her
turned
balance
at
a
the
bit.
right time. Well, she got her back turned at the right time. But, yeah, I agree. And Chelsea Grills is coming over to protest that. And, in a game that promises to be physical, that was more of a bump than a hit.
Yeah, that's a bit of a tough call there.
So Sawchuk and Dominico conferring in the penalty box, but it's 5-on-3. And Weatherston does a nice job of massaging the draw free to Jillian Apps. All kinds of room, as you'd expect. Parsons on the one touch to Piper on the swing, but that pass was saucered on a bounce to Apps, and she'll have to regather. Now low, Bowman, fans on her pass attempt. Pressure applied by Annie Gay, who extends the box. Gay then takes Bowman into the wall. That's a huge mistake right there. And as Grills taps it out of the zone, she knows that the All-American defenseman just took another penalty, and so it's going to be the full 5-on-3 now.
Yeah, this just turned into a really bad situation for St. Lawrence as they're losing their best defender right now to the penalty box. Obviously, a 5-on-3 is tough anytime, let alone when you have 1:30 plus to kill of it.
So Annie Gay with a mistake there. I mean, she did a good job to sort of pressure Bowman at first, but didn't really have a great advantage. There wasn't a need to go chasing after that particular puck, and took Bowman hard to the wall. And so 5-on-3, there are 3 Saints all huddled together in the penalty box, and one of them is their number 1 defenseman. Go ahead.
Quite a large size discrepancy there, too, between Bowman and Gay. I think she just got a little over-aggressive there and took Bowman out a little harder than she anticipated.
Dartmouth tightens up the perimeter. Piper, Apps playing catch up top. They're trying to set up a one-timer. Now Apps trying to go back door. Tipped away by Grills. Diving after it was Grills, and Piper's still going to have time to recover along the blue line near side. Piper steps in, swings to Apps. One-timer was tipped by Weatherston over the crossbar. Parsons recollects and actually calls be made for the puck being played by a high stick. And Weatherston's not so sure about that, but it's going to move the draw out of the zone, so a good break for the Saints.
Great break for the Saints as now the big 5 for Dartmouth are getting off the ice. It gives the Saints a little chance to regroup here.
Dominico's penalty has expired, but it's still 5-on-3 for 1:08 with 3:47 showing on the second period clock, and Dartmouth up 3-1. But Harbeck has an offensive zone draw here, opposite Ruda. Tip free by the big green, and here comes Maggie Kennedy with speed on right wing. Kennedy, the Connecticut native, crosses into offensive real estate, throws it in front. A nice redirect by Cunningham, and a better save by Gukian as it was going behind her, reaching back with a glove.
It was a great tip by Cunningham there, laying down to get her stick on the puck there. And again, Gukian coming up with a big save. She seems to be making the big saves when she needs to, so hopefully that can give her teammates a little bit of inspiration, kill off this 5-on-3.
Dartmouth, though, wins another draw. Did a nice job in the circle here, especially on this recent power play as Etier slings it down low to Kennedy. Errant pass, though, went right to Harbeck, and Harbeck clears all the way down.
Good decision by Harbeck there to just get it down. Clemens out to play the puck.
Harbeck has to conserve a little bit of energy. She's going to see a lot of time here, one would figure, as Kennedy hits the line, lines up a drive, but Brittany Smith was right in the way of that, so took it off the pads and now bounces it beyond the blue line. Bronson at center ice, pressure being applied by Harbeck. Leaves now for Ruda, but the pass too far intended for Etier, and it's sent all the way down once again. So just as we saw in the first period, when the Saints seem to have their backs up against the wall in the PK, and they do some pretty good work. Oh, big collision at center. Weatherston and Dominico, and Weatherston is going to get hit with a penalty here, and she doesn't much like the call. But the call for interference is going to make things 4-on-3 as the penalty box area gets crowded again.
Yeah, Weatherston arguing that call, but there's not much you can do about that one. That was directly open ice. She just got her stick up a little bit. Again, not a very hard hit, but enough to interfere with the St. Lawrence player. And you would have to think that the ref just put 3 St. Lawrence players in the box. They're going to look for any opportunity to get back at Dartmouth a little bit.
There's a conference going on as Mark Hudak is talking to the official. I think the other byproduct of that is when you had 3 consecutive penalties on one team in a short span of time, the least always tends to shorten a little bit going the other way. That's what you tend to see. So
absolutely.
If we're skating 5-on-5, maybe that's no harm, no foul. But with Dartmouth skating 5-on-3, they get the call, and so Weatherston goes off for 2. And it's 4-on-3. Still lots of space as Piper blasts away and misses the far post. The puck is actually stalled on the back of the netting, and there's the whistle.
Shot by Piper from our angle up here. It looked like Gukian was maybe a little bit too far to her left. Piper saw that low corner, just missed wide.
Been a very choppy power play. A lot of whistles, a lot of extra calls, a lot of substitutions.
Yeah, the flow of the game in this second period has really slowed down with not only the power plays and penalty kills, but a lot of discrepancies on the face-off. Again, we see Sarah Parsons getting kicked out of this one, and some late changes by both teams.
And Apps wins it cleanly, but it goes right through Piper. And now Sawchuk is out of the box, so we're actually even up. It's 4-on-4 for 43 seconds. St. Lawrence has escaped the 5-on-3 sequence. They're actually going to have a minute of power play time as Apps launches a wrist shot from long range that sails wide. Karam is collected by Dominico. She has Locke up in the neutral zone. Apps comes back, collides with her teammate Batchelor. They both go down. Numbers for the Saints. Wallace trying to go backdoor to Dominico, maybe one pass too many. So a very strange sequence there. And Piper is hurt. Piper's leg, she had a leg injury earlier in the year, and she is limping badly now. And there's going to be a penalty to boot for holding. So, now, Tiffany, let's try to sort out all the damage here because Apps is going to get 2 minutes for a penalty.
Yeah, that was a very odd sequence with Jillian Apps and Meredith Batchelor running into each other at the blue line. From our view up here, see Jillian Apps' face. So hopefully she's not hurt. Looks like she had a little grimace, and Meredith Batchelor was slow to get up. At the same time, I don't know where Piper got hurt, but she was obviously limping and could barely get off the ice. So you hope that it's nothing serious or nothing serious on top of an already serious injury.
Right. Well, that looks to be the same kind of injury she had that caused her to miss every game since the Providence game. As a shot by Buller with heavy traffic in front goes wide.
So again, a big opportunity for St. Lawrence. Not only are they on the power play, but you have Katie Weatherston and Jillian Apps, two of the Big Green's most formidable penalty killers, sitting in the box.
Mariana Locke outside the near circle, kicks it out to Bullard. Bullard has a couple of steps in, down low to Harbeck, wanted to touch it to Gay, but fumbled the pass. Now Gay has it. Gay, wrist shot right into the shoulder of Clemens. So I think Piper got injured on that 2-on-1 that was created because Apps and Batchelor collided and both fell down. And as she was trying to play both Dominico and Wallace.
Piper's definitely ailing right now. She's right across from us on the corner of the bench with the Dartmouth trainer, Tracy Poro. Looks to be in some serious pain, doubled over, so it'll be interesting to see if she makes a return or not.
Well, she was definitely gritting things out. She climbed back to her feet when the puck was in the zone, but she could barely move. She was literally standing between the circles using her stick as a crutch. And then Apps took the penalty, which almost became beneficial to Dartmouth to get her off. And so now it's actually 5-on-3 for 34 seconds. And what was a big opportunity for Dartmouth becomes a big opportunity for St. Lawrence with just 1:25 showing in a strange second period. Very choppy, as Tiffany alluded to. But St. Lawrence down 3-1 has an opportunity to make this a very different game heading to the third. Kerry Wallace, far side, playing catch with Annie Gay. Gay down low to Grills. Very tight trio of penalty killers for Dartmouth right now. St. Lawrence trying to find the right shooting angle as Gay swings it far side to Wallace. Wallace with a drive. They score! Kerry Wallace, power play goal, Saints. And it's a one-goal game again. It's 3-2.
That was a huge goal for St. Lawrence coming within the last minute and 30 seconds of the period. Obviously, that's a big momentum shifter. Again, with Weatherston just getting out of the box. Jillian Apps still in the box for the Big Green. Nice shot there by Wallace. I was just going to say that it seemed that St. Lawrence was sort of killing their own penalty there, playing with the puck a little bit, moving it around the perimeter, not getting very many shots, but apparently they made the right decision and picked their time.
We'll see if that was tipped, but I agree with you, and I think they even caught a break on the goal. I mean, they had good traffic in front of Clemens, but that was a shot straight on. The PK had rotated over and just found a seam up high, so not the best concept on the 5-on-3, but it works, and I believe St. Lawrence should still have a power play here. Both penalties came off the board, but there were 12 seconds left on the Weatherston minor. So this should be 5-on-4 to close out the period, and Apps has still not vacated the penalty box. So as Grills comes over to confer.
Now there's another penalty going up on the Dartmouth side, number 3 for Dartmouth, which would be
That would be Sue Schmitz, but I'm guessing that's not on Sue Schmitz because she wasn't out there. Maybe was a bench minor called?
Well, no one's headed to the bench for Dartmouth. Jillian Apps still sitting down there in the penalty box, but
no, it's just the Apps minor. They're trying to fix the time, actually. I'm not sure why Schmidt's number came out, but there it is. So Apps has 52 seconds to serve, so that will all but.
Big face-off here coming up at center ice. Whoever can control this is going to be big.
Dartmouth's been good on the draw, but Grills wins this one nicely to Connors on the wing. Connors pushes it over the line. Connors steps underneath Newnham. Good strength from Connors. She deals it near side now to Chelsea Grills. Up top to the All-American Gay. Right back to Grills, who skips a pass to Walls. Good puck movement this time. Gay blasts away. Dominico comes up hobbles. That went right off her right leg.
That's got to hurt. Annie Gay has a rocket, as we said earlier, right off her own player.
Grills playmaking outside the near ring. Shovels to Gay. Massages on through to Wallace. Backdoor to Grills. The one touch to Gay. One-timer is coming. And Dominico tipped it just high.
Nice tip there by Dominico. Good job by Annie Gay to get the shot off quickly.
All of a sudden, St. Lawrence looking a lot better 5-on-4 than they did 5-on-3, even though they scored. 18 seconds in the period as Grills swings it far side. Call's going to be made for a hand pass. That's a good break for Dartmouth. There's only 6 seconds left on the Apps minor, so that'll bring the draw outside the zone.
Absolutely. Big break for Dartmouth as the draw does come outside the zone, making it a little bit tougher for St. Lawrence to set up and get a shot on net.
St. Lawrence has climbed back into this one. It's 3-2, and that should set up, if nothing else, a dramatic third period between these two teams. With still 16.9 to work with as Harbeck and Parsons will meet in the face-off dot.
St. Lawrence has certainly made up some ground this period on the shots on goal. To start off the period, Dartmouth was outshooting them. St. Lawrence has definitely picked up the pace and benefited from the calls.
Harbeck with a drive, and Clemens made the save. Was kind of looking at her glove that she didn't catch it. That's going to end the period, but Harbeck was able to manufacture one final blast. And so a very strangely paced second period, highlighted by some penalties, some stoppages, and unfortunately another injury to Dartmouth's Sherry Piper. But at the end of 2 periods of play, it's the Big Green 3 and the Saints 2.